1992. If you were an Indian flyer, you basically had only two options: Indian Airlines for domestic travel and Air India for international. Then, liberalization happened. It was the end of the license Raj. The economy had been opened up. All of a sudden, interest in the airline sector shot up. And pretty soon you had a number of domestic airlines in the fray. Modi Luft, the Mania Airlines, East West Airlines, and of course, Jet Airways. Starting with a fleet of just 4 Boeing 737 aircraft, Jet soared, while many of its fledgling contemporaries went bust. Surviving a number of hiccups along the way, Jet soon became the top private full-service carrier in the country. It went on to launch an IPO in 2005 and acquired Air Sahara in 2007, rebranding it as Jet Light, a low-cost carrier. Things seemed to be going smoothly with the founder Naresh Goyal at the helm. A man widely known for his political maneuverings and connections, he managed to pull a lot of favors on behalf of Jet. But the good times were not to last. A slew of LCCs or low-cost carriers had entered the market, including Deccan Airlines, SpiceJet and Indigo. The increased competition was heavily damaging to Jet's interests. The company went on to have only 2 profitable years in a decade following 2008. It now sits on a debt of 8,500 crore, a conservative figure, and has shut down operations completely since April 17, 2019. How did things reach here? Let us take a look at some of the reasons that caused Jet's downfall. A full-service carrier like Jet Airways has higher operating costs as compared to the low-cost carriers. While Jet's costs were 30 to 40% higher, it was only able to charge passengers around 15% higher than the LCCs to remain competitive, which meant that for a 3,000 rupee ticket on a low-cost carrier, you would pay a maximum of around 3,450 on Jet, including a few premium extras. A full-service carrier also has to spend a lot more on meals since they offer a number of options to passengers. The loading and unloading time is higher, and they have to spend much more time in cleaning up the aircraft in between flights, which means more time taken up on the ground than in the air. The number of seats that a full-service carrier adds to a plane is lower than low-cost carriers since extra legroom is an option, which also means that fewer passengers are carried each time a flight takes off. Jet also had a wide variety of planes in its fleet, which meant maintenance and technical costs were much higher and more complex than the LCCs. To maintain all of their services, Jet continued to borrow money from lenders, increasing their debt substantially, while simultaneously losing market share to LCCs like Indigo. Jet's market share dropped from 23% in 2014 to just over 11% in 2019. Macroeconomic factors were in play too, including a weakening rupee and rising fuel costs, which are harder to deal with for Indian carriers on the whole, since India has the highest tax in the world on aviation turbine fuel. There is an 11% excise duty combined with different charges levied by states. In 2010, Jet's debt stood at 13,680 crore, and in 2019, it stands at approximately 8,500 crore, which means it went down by only around 5,000 crore in 8 years while making profits in only 2 of those. It was simply unsustainable. In 2013, Jet Airways found itself in a similar situation as today and got Etihad on board, with the company purchasing a 24% stake. Today, it appears Etihad can't wait to exit the firm. There seems to be no reprieve. Jet posted a quarterly loss of 1,036 crore in May 2018, and in January 2019, the company defaulted on its payments to a consortium of banks consisting of SBI, Yes Bank, Canara Bank, Punjab National Bank, ICICI, Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of India, and Syndicate Bank. Jet had no choice all this while but to operate at full capacity to ensure that it did not have a cash crunch when it came to fixed costs like salaries. But that didn't prove to be enough. Today, the airline has stopped operations, Naresh Goyal has been forced to exit, and the consortium of lenders are looking for investors. There is talk of a government investigation too. As to why many airlines in India continue to operate on thin profits, one is certainly for the future growth potential. But sometimes it is also because the airlines have placed orders for large number of aircraft. And if they don't keep stimulating growth, then there simply won't be the demand to match the capacity once the planes arrive. So it's quite possible that we'll be seeing prices go up in the near future in the Indian market. And what will that lead to? Only time will tell. Suffice to say that the Indian aviation sector is never too far away from turbulence.